Did I or did I not tell you that I would make it look different? For better or worse. So welcome, folks, to vlog number 5. Right off the bat, I just want to say this is just as weird for me as it probably is for you. New location, new setup, new toys, all at the same time. On paper, it sounded really cool to me, and it's still cool to me. But now I just have to deal with the reality of recording a vlog without being 100% comfortable. I mean, I'm not saying that this is the case, but if I were to say that I might have tried to record the opening bit once already and that I wasn't happy with it because I got lost in my own words, then that happened. I'm scared. Nah, but I'm doing this in the basement from vlog number 2, the one where I had that unplugged electric guitar with the camera angled about 45 degrees to the left from where I was doing that. The couch is right hither. Not that that really matters. You could have been convinced that I was in a different building entirely if I didn't open my mouth just now, but I don't like lying to y'all. I consider us friends, and friends are honest with each other. Now, I will say what's super cool about this setup is, well, the circumstances through which it came to be. As I've mentioned a couple of times already, I'm working on a short film called Kickback, and right now we're in the redubbing phase of things. Meaning any dialogue or sounds that we tried to get on location while we were shooting that didn't turn out that great, we're just gonna redo them in a little home studio recording environment. Which is this. Now, I'm gonna be 100% honest, we were kind of freaking out these last couple of days because we were essentially trying to work with the mic that we used on location, the Rode Mic Pro. We wanted to somehow wire that into either my laptop or the main computer that we're editing the movie on, and it just wouldn't fucking work. It was really getting on my nerves, and it was making me really anxious about being able to progress in time so we could make our mid-December deadline. December, this year. That puppy's dropping then. Scout's honor. I dropped out in Weeblos. That doesn't mean jack shit. Anyway, the setup. This guy right here, this is the Yeti I was using in the previous vlog. This arm and this little piece up top, which is a shock mount to keep any vibrations from reaching the pickup. 100% new, haven't used that stuff yet. They were a birthday gift from my producer and #1 fan, who quite generously decided to help me troubleshoot the issue of the microphones in regards to redubbing the dialogue, and helped me whip up this grand, beautiful mess of blankets and pillows and industrial-grade desks from the 1960s. I don't know why my family has this. To create something that is at once visually delightfully tacky and 100% functional. Me and my boys used this last night, and the results were great. It is actually the best sounding audio I've managed to get into the Yeti. And I've had it for a little over 2 years, I'm pretty sure, so, yeah, I'm kicking myself for not using this kind of setup sooner. So it's gonna be up for the next couple of days anyway, so I figured, hey, it's the big 5. It's the big milestone. My first milestone in my vlogging career. I keep calling it a career, which is a little self-indulgent, but I'm gonna keep calling it that. And to further celebrate, new drink. The first seltzer I've drank in one of these things. Let's get a close-up of this. Bammo! I'm a little paranoid that I'm gonna lose either the audio or the visuals for this vlog, and I really don't want that to happen because that's gonna really deflate my momentum. So if one goes, I have something as a backup, and if the other goes, I have something as a backup. But yeah, Polar Seltzer, cranberry lime flavor. Favorite brand, favorite flavor of the brand. I initially started drinking this because I took one sip and I was like, hey, it tastes like a nerd's rope. But, you know, since then, the taste is, you know, cranberry lime. Like, I just register it as that. And here we are now. If there were a brand that I'd be 100% comfortable taking a brand deal from, it would most certainly be Polar Seltzers. Wink, wink. Even if that doesn't happen, though, at least I can drink it whenever I fucking want. But yeah, before I totally discombobulate myself by looking back and forth at these 2 different visual pickups, I'm gonna continue on with the vlog. I shouldn't beat myself up too much for rambling, because that's kind of the point of everything that I'm doing right here. That's literally what a vlog is, so why try to hide it, you know? But yeah, now that you know what my deal is with all of this, that, and this, let's get to topic number 1. Topic number 1 being that I'm just feeling older this week, man. For those of you who listened to that update podcasty thing I posted last Tuesday, there was a bit of a family emergency that required me and several other members of my family to just kind of like cycle through a schedule of keeping an eye on my grandmother, who sustained a really nasty injury on her leg, and then proceeded to have a blood clot, which then caused it to swell the fuck up. Since then, it's been nothing but upswing. She's gotten much better. And even though we still have to continue to go visit her and make sure she's okay, she's got a bit more spring in her step and things can only get better from here, hopefully. But in that time of having to watch after her, driving out of state and visiting her apartment, making sure she took all of her medicine and helping her complete various tasks such as wrapping up her swelled spot and getting around her living space okay, I felt a surge of responsibility that I admittedly haven't felt very often and throughout my 23 years of life. Like, I grew up in a daycare, I'm still living at home, so I've always technically been the one who's been cared for and rarely the one who was caring for another person. The most I've taken care of has mostly been dogs and cats. People are different. Little known fact. So that, in combination with doing this no-shave thing still, getting several compliments from people, including "you look older" type comments, which is nice to hear. Usually I only seem to get that kind of comment after I cut my hair. I like my poofy wannabe Bob Dylan frizz. Yet as soon as I shave it down to a nice, clean, James Dean looking getup, people say, "Ooh, Dill, you look so much older. You should just keep it that short." You think you own me? Nah, but anyway, as patchy and messy as this has all been, I'm gonna keep going with it. I think I'm actually gonna make it till the end of the month for once. So the caregiving, the facial hair, the accomplishments creatively in regards to the short film, and even these vlogs, I'm getting a sensation of maturity that I kind of feel like was supposed to happen while I was still at college, but it never actually did all that much, at least I don't think so. Like, sure, I did some stuff. I did a lot of volunteer work. I met a lot of older, cooler, differently minded people, and that's just objectively gonna, like, widen your horizons. But I just don't think it gave me that surge of, oh, I'm at a different place than where I was. I don't know, the last few months have just been their own adventure, you know? I'll go through a bit more organized and detailed of a breakdown of how this year's been at some point. I'd rather not dwell on that aspect too much for this particular vlog. I mean, there's always vlog 10, assuming I make it that far. And in the time between now and then, I'm still trying to figure out what I could do differently, or even what I should just keep the same. I'm curious to know how this is gonna turn out, because I'm using Shanon over here. Let me give y'all a formal introduction to Shanon the Canon. Shanon and I go back several years, all the way back my senior year of high school. I used her to document the pre-production as well as the opening night of a high school play that I assistant directed, which basically means I've followed around my drama teacher and the director of the play, occasionally giving input, mostly just standing there awkwardly breathing through my mouth, while also snapping some cool video and pictures every once in a while. So from here, she helped me shoot a couple of videos for my older YouTube channels, including my earliest attempts at creating a vloggy, self-reflective type of thing. And those are still technically on the internet for your viewing pleasure and for my eternal embarrassment. Like, they're watchable. I'm very clearly finding my footing. I'm still finding my footing, but I like to think I'm a little bit better at being myself than I was back then. Oh, this whole vlog's just gonna be me saying, you know, I could talk about that a little bit longer, but I'll just save it for a different episode. But yeah, TLDR, Shannon's a good friend of mine. She can be a real bitch sometimes. For example, if I'm recording a super long clip and it happens to reach the 20-minute mark, yeah, she starts taking a nap. It's really inconvenient, especially during something where I'm like a one-man crew, something like this, where if she does doze off, I have to go all the way over to the other side of the room, hit the record button again, get back to where I was, and then try to find whatever place I was physically and mentally, and carry on. It's such a pain in the ass, Shanon. Ooh, I feel a little slower on this one. Like I said, all this new stimulus is kind of overloading my senses. Hopefully I'll just power through it like I usually do. It also doesn't help that I'm not getting a caffeine or booze hit, but hey, I want to challenge myself to not need that shit. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I don't need it. It makes it easier, and you might even say more fun and better. Fuck you. But yeah, I am curious to see how this final product turns out, because technically speaking, it's just objectively going to be the best looking vlog I've done so far, but at the same time, I've kind of grown fond of that low frame rate, low res, lo-fi look that I've achieved by doing these first couple. I always said they were a lot easier to make than the stuff that I made beforehand, like R for Language or whatever short film projects I ended up working on. And unfortunately, they had to do a lot with not having to use my girl here. I mean, I love her. Otherwise, I wouldn't have her in my life. She wouldn't be one of my several life partners. That sounded polygamous as fuck. I probably shouldn't have said that, but it was really funny to me, so that's gonna stay in. I have multiple life partners. And that is as vague as I'm going to leave that statement. But yeah, Shanon is the most professional piece of equipment that I technically have. The second would probably be the Yeti. And when used properly, she gets me images and final products that are really, really close to a professional movie. But, you know, with that kind of power comes a lot of intimidation. She just has this aura to her that I can't really explain. I mean, when I'm like on a shoot and, you know, the neck strap's around me and I'm just running around going from one shot to another, she's like a comrade in a war I'm fighting. Like, I'm happy she's there. But in situations like this, where she's on a tripod, she's just like this awkward giant eye just glaring me down, judging me as I try to pretend to be something that I might not be quite like in real life, and then continuing to judge me whenever I fall short of words or become doubtful of my own abilities. Just kind of like, what, motherfucker? You think you're important? You think you're capable? You think you're competent in anything? Fuck you. It's just real uneasy to me. Although, you could argue that it has to do with a lack of practice with her. I mean, just to be more specific, she's a T3i, and I know for a fact that a lot of filmmakers, especially vloggers, use that model if they're trying to use a DSLR for their content. So who knows, maybe I'll use her a bit more when I'm vlogging, but I still like this shit. It's just so inviting. It's so Skypey, you know? And it's so much easier to, like, make sure I know where I am in the frame. Ah, god damn it. Yeah, she did it. I have to go reset her. All my mojo has just been thrown off. Ah, fucking bitch. Yeah, she just gave me another reason why I'd prefer not to have to use her if I don't have to. And I just look so much more appealing on this one for some reason. Can't really explain why. Maybe it's just so much easier for me to get lost in my own luscious, ambiguously brown eyes. I'm not gay. Easy come, easy go. This isn't so bad so far. I don't know what that was. I will say one of the most awkward parts of this setup is that I can't quite utilize my sound source for as many jokes. I imagine it's not ideal at all to try to rub my stubble on this in its current state, although I did just realize this might be a good opportunity to roleplay a little bit. I've been told by a couple of people that I could have been a disc jockey in another life. And one of the reasons I got the Yeti in the first place was so I could start doing some voiceover work, which I've done quite a bit of. It's just been a while since I've actually done it. So apologies if I sound a little out of practice when I do this. You're listening to an official Lanooski podcast. Here now is the mayor of Muppet Town to deliver his State of the Union address.
Hello, people who live in my town. I'm going to say a speech that don't make no goddamn sense. You shouldn't have voted for me.
We interrupted. Yeah, I can barely expect comedy gold by doing improv as it is. To try to utilize a voice of any kind is just gonna make that much, much worse. Maybe if I look more the part, I can pull this off. Remember this guy? Sure you do. Bam. I look like I run a college radio station now. Although maybe if I'm looking for a more 70s vibe, I should switch out the lenses. See if that alters the character at all of what I'm trying to embody right now. I'm looking like the love child of Howlin' Wolf and Mark Borchardt from American Movie. And I don't know about you, but I find that to be a really fucking good place to be. So I was sitting in a chair in the field, man, and I was just looking at the various hills and landscapes, and that's when I realized that I had an image in my head that I could just put between my hands. I grabbed a pen and paper to make sure I didn't lose no spark, you know what I mean? And I went home to my friend Mike, and I'm like, yo, Mike, we need to get this onto the screens, man. You know what I'm saying, Mike? No, not really. I can be a real weirdo, and I acknowledge that. So the fact that anyone out there would be willing to take the time to watch me be a weirdo for any amount of time, let alone subscribe, that means a lot to me. It really does. I'm really looking forward to see where this channel goes next. I'm going to continue to do stuff like this, as well as some of the stuff I had attempted previously. I plan on making some more movie-related stuff really soon. I'm also working on an album. I'm slowly but surely learning how to use various composition tools, researching different sounds that I could incorporate to kind of like give it a completed feel and not just be a mishmash of random shit. No real official word on when exactly that would be released, but I just thought I'd share that I'm working on something. I'd like to thank a few fellow creators who have reached out to me to say that they like my stuff, who also make some stuff that I quite enjoy myself. Welcome to Internet, The Outspoken Introvert, The Golden Bolt, Ramiz Khan. 42 is a number, 24 is a number. I forget your exact channel name because I know you by your first name. I'm not going to share that right now, though. Animator I met through a mutual love of Game Grumps. I'm pretty fucking sure I'm going to give shout-outs later, so if I left anyone out, you know, don't take it personally. Like, you know who you are. Until then, I'm going to try to wrap this up because I guarantee you I have like 50 minutes of footage so far. Let me check. Oh my god. I said that not thinking it was going to be true. It'll be like, oh, it's just like 20. No, it's been that long. I have a lot of work ahead of me. It's going to be HD footage. Yeah, another reason I don't use Shanon, her video takes up so much fucking room on my computer and it just bogs down the entire editor so much. Why did I do this? Shannon, I love you, but you're killing me. You're killing me, babe. Sorry, I didn't mean it. This concludes Lanooski vlog number 5. We will leave you with the soothing keyboard seduction of Marcus Hornt. Play us out, Marcus. Now this is weird, right? This is a little too different, potentially, for some of y'all. Well, fret not, my friends. It's still gonna be the same usual shtick.